Today is Sunday, today is Sunday, December 27th, 2015. And I just thought I would come on today and give a little update. Well, not an update really. All is well with the pregnancy. I'll do another pregnancy vlog after my next appointment, which will be in 2016. So pregnancy wise, as far as today, I'm 9 weeks, 3 days pregnant. All is well with the twins. They're still healthy, still growing. I did go to my OB. Now I'm getting into the pregnancy stuff. I'm sorry, guys. So anyway, I went to my OB, my first OB appointment on December 23rd, and all was well. I was referred to my maternal fetal. She called me the next day and scheduled my appointment for January, the second week in January. So I'll make an update after that. This update is for a few women who have reached out to me via email. And it's an update that I said I was going to do last week, but I was just too exhausted. It's about basically the difference between my RE clinics that I've gone through over the past pretty much almost 5 years. Really longer than that, because I started seeing my other OB back in 2005. So if we're going to count when I first started, we'll say 10 years. But in any case, I'm just trying to figure out where to begin. It's just so much. As many of you ladies already know, when I first started my journey back in 2005, obviously I was, trying to have a baby prior to 2005. I've been married since 2002. But I realized that I needed to see a fertility specialist back in 2005. And I was seeing the clinic in South Carolina, Advanced Fertility. And at that point, I didn't have the money nor insurance to do IVF. So pretty much we just kind of played around with Clomid, things like that to see what I could do. Nothing worked, obviously. I ended up 6 years later starting the IVF journey. So I think it took about that period of time to figure out that there was a blockage in both of my tubes, because that wasn't checked initially. So yeah, I ended up starting my first IVF journey back in 2011, October 2011. I didn't have insurance. I paid completely out of pocket. My husband and I, we paid out of pocket for that just one cycle. We paid almost $18,000, including the medication. The RE's office did not connect us with any agency or pharmacy that was selling medication at a discount rate or had some type of discount for women that were, or couples that were paying out of pocket. So we paid for everything out of pocket with no discount. And it is what it is. It was my first time. I didn't know that, there was so many other options out there when it comes to trying to seek help for like financial help. So we did it. Failed cycle. After the failed cycle, the doctor basically said, it was a lot of ifs. It was a lot of, let's try this. Everything was pretty much, I don't know why it didn't work. And I understand that, sometimes it just don't work and we just don't know why. I mean, everything, I'm a very scientific type person and I like to have answers, but I do understand that some things you just don't know why. It just doesn't happen. Maybe it's just God is not meant to be at that time. So after the first cycle, I was advised that I had natural killer cell issue, and that is what we needed to do to before, the next cycle. So we did that the day of the transfer of the second cycle, and that one failed as well. Completely devastated because I'm like, okay, now here we are again with no insurance doing this, and we have another failed cycle. And on top of that, with the natural killer cells, with that clinic, I was required to pay $650 for intralipids out of pocket. It was something that's not covered by insurance. Meanwhile, all of the other women in the TTC community, I found out years later, is paying $20, $50, but that clinic was charging $650 for intralipids. So that was the second cycle failed. So that just went on for the longest, year after year. Is pretty much the same thing. At, towards my last, not my cycle in 2015, but my 2014 cycle, which was my last cycle with that clinic, they were pretty much talking about me getting a surrogate to carry the babies, because they couldn't understand why it just wasn't working, why, things were going wrong. So we tried it again. That's when I got pregnant with Cam, and you know, that pregnancy ended due to incompetent cervix. But you guys already know that. The point that I'm trying to get to with my first clinic, that entire time that I was with that clinic, they took a don't ask, don't tell approach. I was in the dark when it came to a lot of stuff, that was going on. My levels, they never gave me the results of my levels. They would just call back. The nurse would just call me back and say, everything is fine. But they would never tell me like what it should be and what it is. And it was like that the entire, from 2011 through my last cycle with them was 2014. They never basically suggested that I just do a fresh cycle, just, start from scratch. I don't know. It's just, a lot of things that I was unaware of, and I just didn't like, but I went through because I felt like I didn't have any other choice. There was only one other infertility clinic in my area, and they didn't have good reviews. Basically by word of mouth, because this clinic didn't really have good stats. And I wasn't looking for stats during that time, but I didn't know any better. That clinic, the stats on their website hasn't been updated for years, but that was by word of mouth the best clinic in the area. So that's the reason why I went there initially and just continued to stay with them versus going to another clinic. I honestly thought something was wrong with me. Like I just assumed that, they're professionals. Everything that they're doing is right. Something is wrong with me. Another issue that I had was billing. Even though we paid out of pocket the first cycle, we still got billed from all kind of different labs, and all of that stuff was supposed to be included. So it was a lot of hidden charges, like not $100 charges. I mean, thousands of dollars, like $3,000 bills, $4,000 bills from other facilities. So it was just really outrageous. And the weird thing that I just didn't like, but I just kept going because like I said, I felt like I wanted to have a kid. I'm going to do whatever I have to do. Was the fact that there was always, each cycle, there was always like a $1,400 or $1,500 out of pocket charge in addition to everything else that you pay. There's a $15 out of pocket charge that you pay. And that $1,500 is supposed to cover your copay, for whatever, blood work, whatever labs or whatever you have done at the office. Well, this particular clinic, they would still charge me, even though they took the $15, because that was always the upfront payment prior to starting your cycle. So they would take the $1,500. I would still get billed from them for my copay, and they would still bill me the difference in what the discount was. At that time, when I probably like my third cycle or second, I think my third cycle, I finally got insurance. So with insurance, I think I can't even remember how much out of pocket I paid. But I do remember, I'm just going to give you an example. I think my insurance company was Cigna. And say, for instance, if the transfer was $5,000 and Cigna had a contract with them, meaning that for transfers, they're only going to pay $1,000. I'm not supposed to pay that $4,000. That's a discount, because of the contract that Cigna has with the doctor's office. Well, they would still charge me for that. And I know it's illegal, but I would constantly fight with Cigna and the doctor's office. And no matter what, the financial manager at the doctor's office would come up with 1,000,001 reason to make me think I was going crazy, trying to tell me that I needed to pay it. So all of the years that I was with them, I ended up still paying that extra difference. And it was just a lot. In any case, my second clinic was Dr. Shear's office in Dallas. We decided to have our last 2 embryos transferred from South Carolina and sent to Dallas so we can just do an FET and see how that works out. Well, I was really excited to go to this clinic because that was the, doctor that was advising me my last cycle when I actually did get pregnant. So I was like, I'm really excited. Finally glad to be able to be in their office and not just communicating via the internet. Well, it was a totally different experience. We did tests for natural killer cells, and they said I didn't even have it. I just don't understand. Whereas I paid over $3,000 initially with my first clinic for that particular test, with this office, I only paid $400 and something. I don't even remember, like $407 or $405 for the test. They didn't test it in their office. They sent it off to a facility just like the other clinic did. But I still don't understand how it was such a huge difference in $3,000 versus $407. In any case, they found that I don't even have it. So I'm like, did I ever have it? You know what I mean? Really awkward. So anyway, I was happy that I didn't have to worry about any intralipids. But I was still a little nervous because that other clinic pretty much had it programmed in my mind that I had natural killer cells. So even though I did my FET with Dr. Shear's office, I still went up there 10 days prior to get my intralipids because I just told him I wanted to have it anyway. And I paid $50 for it versus $650. The thing that stood out about that particular clinic, everything was pretty much smooth sailing. It was like pretty much processing me like my other clinic did. My other clinic, it was like all of the women, if I was in the lobby, all 10 or 15 women that was in the lobby was getting the same thing done. We were either getting blood work done, we were getting ultrasound done to look at our uterus, whatever. We all were doing the same thing. Like everybody was on the same cycle. And even if I'm not even gonna go there, but anyway, that's one thing that I just did not like. I don't like feeling like I'm being processed. I don't like feeling like, I'm moving in the same direction as everybody else, regardless of what my body is doing. Let me know what my body is doing. If it's not working right, don't allow me to move forward and waste my time and waste my money if something isn't right. You know what I mean? Not saying that I wouldn't be disappointed because, when we all are trying to get an FET done, we're all wanting, to move forward and we want everything to flow perfectly. But the reality is our bodies have to match what we're trying to do. Everything has to match. And if it's not ready, what is the point of moving forward to have an unsuccessful cycle? just because you're anxious. Like, that makes absolutely no sense. So I was getting the same feeling from that RE's office. And initially I was like, wow, this is different. I'm glad I'm here. Now I can get my intralipids. Now, these people know what they're talking about. But like I said, those were things that I didn't need and things that I really didn't even need to focus on. The day that I went to get my intralipids, it was like a week or two before my transfer. And the thing that I did not like, but I didn't make a, fuss about it, was that I was there. This doctor has never seen me. He's never met me. And I still didn't meet him that day. I never met the doctor. No one did an ultrasound. No one looked between my legs. So that really bothered me, because I'm like, how are you going to do a transfer and you don't even know what my uterus looks like? You don't even know if everything is okay in my uterus. And I'm here. So why not check it while I'm here? Why have another doctor in my area do it when I'm here? That just made no sense to me. So, that was another red flag that I pretty much suppressed, because I was wanting to just get through and, get the FET done. So that cycle was unsuccessful. At that point, I told my husband that I was at my wit's end with just suppressing a lot of emotions. I was done, because at the end of the day, I respect all of my doctors. I respect the process. But if I feel weird, if I have a question, I would at least like to feel comfortable enough to ask a question, like to, I don't know if that makes any sense, but to ask, like, I just felt like I should have just asked them, like, and I did ask, is the doctor going to do an ultrasound? And she said no, but I wanted to know why. And I didn't press the issue, like, well, why isn't he going to do ultrasound? Like, the first time that I saw his face was the second that he walked in the room with the tube. Well, he didn't walk in the room with the tube. The embryologist came through, but the second that he walked in the room, I was already on my back with my legs open for him to do the transfer. That's the first time that I met the doctor. And I was just like, yeah, we don't want to do that again. So at this point, after that, when I knew the cycle was going to be unsuccessful, I started calling around to different clinics in San Antonio, and I scheduled appointments with a lot of different clinics here. All of the top clinics. Even my OB actually referred me to a clinic when I lost Cam last year. But I didn't want to just go based on somebody saying, oh, this is a good doctor. Because even when I was going to get blood work done for one clinic, a lady that was drawing my blood was like, oh, this doctor is really, really good. Not even talking about the doctor that I use, just some other guy. So I'm like, a lot of people talk about word of mouth, but I need some stats. I need a proven track record of this office caring about women, knowing how to do their job. And the most important thing that I needed was honesty. I don't need someone that's not going to be upfront with what's going on with me. If I need to wait, if things are not looking right, you know what I mean? I just need someone that's going to be honest. That is what I love the most about RMA of Texas. I will make this disclaimer because now I'm going in on my clinic. I am not being paid to endorse RMA of Texas. You guys have been following me for however long. You know I'm very transparent and I'm going to speak the truth. This clinic was so amazing. And I promise you, even if I did not get pregnant this time, I still would have stayed there. If I did not have a successful cycle, I still would have stayed there because I trusted the people that was. And it's so funny because I feel like they were working for me. You know what I mean? They were working on my behalf. So I trusted my doctor. I trusted the embryologist. I trusted the staff. So it was a completely different experience from the first time that I made a phone call to schedule a consultation. I love the fact that the woman who picked up the phone, she was thorough. She knew about FETs. She knew about a whole bunch of stuff. We talked forever. She knew so much. And I was very impressed, because usually when I start talking about my history, the receptionist or whoever the people are that answer the phone are like, okay, so let's go ahead and schedule this appointment. They don't know. And I don't expect them to know. But this woman knew so much, and that really impressed me. That stood out. And even though I was impressed, I still, like I said, went through with the other consultations that I had scheduled with other clinics, because I wanted to make sure whatever clinic I choose, this is going to be the best clinic around. Not by other people telling me, by me seeing it and feeling it for myself. And that is how I feel about RMA of Texas. And like I said, I don't want to keep repeating myself. Even if this cycle was not a successful cycle, if I did not get pregnant this time, I thank God that I did get pregnant. But even if I did not get pregnant, this clinic, I would have still done everything the exact same way. I still would have chosen this clinic. I still would have stayed with this clinic. I still would feel the exact same way about the doctors and staff, because they really made me feel like I was the only patient in the world. They didn't make me feel like the woman that was sitting next to me, if she was going to move forward, I'm moving forward, because that's what their schedule looks like. They didn't make me feel like if I had a question at 10 o'clock at night, I can't reach anybody until the next day. I emailed my nurse anytime I felt like I had a question. I had my doctor's email address. I mean, I even had a phone number to contact my doctor if I needed to, because she called me on her way home from work one day. So I'm like, the communication was unbelievable. I trusted their knowledge of their job, and I trusted that they wanted this for me as bad as I wanted it for myself. And that, I don't know. I can't stay on that because it makes me get emotional. When I was driving to work Thursday, I was thinking about it, just, to be with people who they haven't been working with me for long. They just met me. I think my consultation was at some point in September. So they just met me in September, but I felt like they cared about me. I felt like they, really knew how badly my husband and I wanted this, and they wanted this just as badly for us. And I just, I thank God. I can't thank God enough for guiding me to this place. Let's talk about credentials. This staff, the doctors, the panel, they have a panel of doctors at this clinic. It's not just one doctor. That was another thing that I did like. So they were able to, converse amongst each other if need be about my situation, and, figure out the best way to handle things if they needed to do that. I don't know. But either way, when I went on their website and read the credentials, and I read the history, those doctors' history, I was blown away, because it wasn't like a doctor that was just coming out of medical school and just starting like yesterday. They've been doing this for a long time. The embryologist, everybody was well versed, and that's something that I realize is very important. You have to deal with seasoned people who take pride in results, because this clinic has an awesome success rate. Their success rate was double my last clinic's. I didn't even look at my clinic's success rate for women my age. You know what I mean? But their success rate was double. And I know, that's because they care about what they do and they take pride in their work. And numbers don't lie. The success of the clinic it basically speaks for itself. You know what I mean? So it's just amazing. It was a completely amazing experience. Everybody, even if they weren't like directly like drawing blood from me, or they weren't my doctor or my nurse, like all of the women that work in that clinic somehow made their way around to me when I had an appointment, even if it was just an appointment for blood work, just to say hi, or, just tell me that they're rooting for me. once I got pregnant, to tell me congratulations. I mean, it was amazing, because different times I would look like, how do they know me? You know, because it's not like they're my nurse, but it's amazing, the chemistry, you know, the excitement of the people that work at this clinic. I absolutely love it. And then I really love the way that they interact with my husband. The last clinic, the my husband and I were sitting in the room. The nurse acted like he wasn't even in the room. I was so teed off. Like, don't disrespect my man. Do not. But this place, I mean, God. You know, my husband felt the freedom to ask whatever questions he wanted to ask, you know, no matter how crazy it was. You know, he just felt very comfortable, and he enjoyed the entire staff as just as much as I did. My doctor, my nurse, everybody that I encountered. I mean, it's amazing. It is really amazing. The gist of it, because I'm going to wrap it up because I see this video is already at 26 minutes. The gist of it, ladies, this is a difficult journey. Lord knows it is. And if you're my age, I'm 36. I'm about to be 37 next month. You don't have time or money to waste. You know what I mean? And to me, it makes a difference when somebody is saying, when things are going right, you know, oh, you know, you should go to this place. I love this place. But like I said, even if I did not get pregnant this cycle, I would still ride for this clinic, because these people are amazing. They really, really, really care about you. You know what I mean? And they're really, really knowledgeable. And that's something that I want you ladies to think about when you're picking your clinic. If you don't feel in your heart that your doctor really wants you to have a baby just as much as you want to have a baby, if you don't feel in your heart that your doctor is taking interest in what's going on in your body and not just processing you over like you're a part of a baby meal, we're on this schedule and you're going to abide by the schedule because this is what schedule we have, like, that's not cool. If you feel like I don't know. I just want you to just start looking at different things and don't suppress. My main thing is just don't suppress your feelings. If you feel like something isn't right, if you feel like, you know, everything is not going to be perfect anywhere. I haven't had, and this is the God honest truth, I'm going to knock on wood because I'm probably going to end up, if I do decide at some point, I have no plans on having any more children after these two. But if I do decide, because I still have more embryos in the freezer, to, oh, that's another thing that I got to hit on. I'm sorry. Lord, this video is going to be all over the place. Another thing is, you have to have an embryologist that knows quality embryos. I honestly believe there is absolutely no reason why I should have had so many transfers with my other clinic without doing a fresh cycle. The thing that the other clinic had programmed in my mind was quantity over quality. And this clinic is the complete opposite. Quality over quantity. So even if I produced 17 or 20 eggs, they only want the best 4 or 5 tops. And that is something that I had to really get in my mind, because I was used to pushing them out, get as many as we can. But it's not, you know, you shouldn't try to get as many as you can, because all of them are not going to be good. That's just the reality of the situation. Think about it. When you're going through a cycle, it's abnormal for a woman to produce so many eggs and produce so many, and then they become embryos. So it's just not natural. So you have to think about it from the aspect, if this medication is, helping your body to produce as many as you're producing, do you think all of them are gonna be the best quality? Do you think all of them are gonna, all 20 of them are gonna be babies? How logical is that? Healthy babies? It's not logical. Whether we want to admit it or not, it's just not logical. So you have to have a good staff that has a really good embryologist staff that knows, what a good quality embryo look like, so that you'll have the best chance. And I'm gonna be honest enough to say, they can choose a really good quality embryo and it still not result in a pregnancy if it's not God's time for you to get pregnant. So let's not say, sorry God, something's in my eye. Let's not say that, I'm booting God out of the equation. No, I'm just saying that you should have a embryologist that knows it doesn't make sense to save all 8 or all 16 embryos, because all 16 are not going to be good. Let's pick out the best and save the absolute best. That way, when you're spending your money on a transfer, that you have a better chance of actually getting what you're there to get, which is a baby. So I thank God, when I went in for my transfer, they were like, these are the best 2. These are really, really good, embryos. And they don't grade the 1A and 2Bs and 4Cs, all of that. They don't do that. It's either it's good or it's not. Period. And that is why I think they have such a high success rate, because they're not transferring embryos that they don't think is going to develop into a baby. So, with that being said, ladies, like I said, do your research, check out the stats on your clinics, because those are things that I didn't do in the beginning. If you have questions, you should be able to ask your doctor anything that you have, any question that you have. You should be able to access, either your doctor or your nurse, without having to jump through hoops. You know what I mean? When you're going through a cycle, I know it's not normal to be able to put your finger on your doctor anytime you want to, but at least, you should be able to have some type of access to your nurse if you needed them. So just, I pray that you all that have had a tedious journey as I have, do not give up. Because Lord knows, if I would have given up when they told me I couldn't even have kids, that's first of all, because doctors have told me that before, because I have polycystic ovaries, that I won't be able to have kids. If I would have given up after the first, second, third, or fourth failed IVF cycle, or if I would have given up after infant loss, like, if this is what your heart, the desire of your heart is, you have to keep going. You know what I mean? I feel like there is nothing in this world that I want more than to be a mother. You know what I mean? So there is nothing in this world besides death that will ever stop me from accomplishing that goal, regardless of what happens. I may get tired, I may get weary, but I will never, ever stop until I deliver my child or my children and I bring them home. At that point, I will be content. But until then, I'm going to be on a mission. And I encourage you, ladies, regardless of what it looks like, you know what I mean? Regardless of what it looks like, keep going. If that's your heart's desire, do not give up. Keep going. If it doesn't work with this clinic, think about why. Think about what you can do differently, and research. And if you have to travel. When I got my transabdominal cerclage done, it was at least 3 doctors, that, especially one that was not even a half a mile from my front door. His office was a half a mile from my front door, but I didn't go to him to get it done. I traveled to Chicago to Dr. Haney to get it done. So I'm like, I made a choice that I was only going to go with the best. If I'm going to spend my money, if I'm going to allow myself to go through, the emotional roller coaster of TTCing, I want the best, period. And that's how I felt about my TAC, and that is how I felt about my IVF. I did not want to choose a doctor just because my OB said that this was a good doctor. I wanted to interview, basically is what I felt like I was doing, interview all of the clinics that I wanted to interview and make the best decision. So you should be confident in whatever clinic you're choosing. It makes absolutely no sense to spend your money going to a clinic that you're not happy with. You're not happy with the way that they're treating you. You're not happy with the level of communication. It makes no sense, because at the end of the day, you're still spending your money. You're still spending your time. You know what I mean? So just, I would say just, stand up for yourself, when you're making a decision on choosing your doctors. I would say continue to follow your dream. If having a child or having more children is your dream, follow your dream, follow your heart. No matter how hard it gets, just keep going, keep moving forward. Research. I'm going to make another video about different jobs that pays for IVF. I don't know, because I keep saying I'm going to do a video and then a whole week goes by and I don't. I will tell you off the cuff some certain jobs that does pay for IVF, or has IVF coverage. I know Aetna now has IVF coverage as of next year, as of 2016. I know JP Morgan Chase Bank has IVF coverage. I know that Bank of America has IVF coverage. Starbucks has IVF coverage. Staples, whether you work for the corporate office or whether you work for an actual store, they have IVF coverage. I think I said Bank of America, I'm not sure, but if I didn't, Bank of America has IVF coverage. Dick's Sporting Good has IVF coverage. So even if you work with some of these companies part-time, like I know if you work for Starbucks part-time and you only work 20 hours a week, you can still get insurance and get IVF coverage. So I understand that it's expensive. Research. I can't stress it enough. I'm going to go ahead and end this video, ladies, because we're rolling up on 37 minutes. I do apologize that the video is so long. If any one of you ladies have any questions, like specific questions, I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. You can either send me an email through YouTube or email me at journey2motherhood35@gmail.com. And that's journey, the number 2, motherhood35. Excuse me, at gmail.com. And I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. My Instagram is the same thing, journey to the number 2, motherhood35 well, there is no at, it just stops at that. Anyway, if you ladies have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. I wish you all the best of luck in your future FET cycles. Like I said, no matter what, if it's your heart's desire, keep moving forward. Do not settle. Do not waste your time. Do not waste your money. Do not waste your energy on foolishness. You find the best clinic that's going to work with you and you go with that clinic. I promise you, you'll be pleased, at your results. All right, ladies. Well, I'm going to go back and finish getting myself together. I have to run out to the store. But anyway, take care. If you have any other questions or concerns, feel free to shoot me an email. Talk with you soon. And I'll do another pregnancy update. Sorry, guys. I have to apologize because this video was all over the place. I will do another pregnancy update in January after my first maternal fetal office visit. All right. Take care, ladies.